Hello, friends. Welcome to the next session. I think in the early session, we were discussing about different concepts. I was talking about generative AI in general sense. So we'll have an extension to that session today. So our course is on AI and generative AI. So this comprises of both traditional classical machine learning as well as generative AI concepts. So we will start our course with generative AI. Mostly my sessions, we will try to have more practical oriented sessions. So we took a little flavor of, how to do LLM based invocations in the previous sessions. Today, we'll do an extension to that. There will be a little overlap. If there is an overlap, kind of, bear with me because we are slowly stitching together multiple concepts and then deeply going into the course. So the plan for this week is we will understand about little more about LLMs, little more about practical way of invoking the LLMs, specifically local LLMs. And we will also see maybe in tomorrow's session, I'll show you about how to invoke open closed source LLMs. We call them as frontier models. We will be touching base on OpenAI based models, and I'll show you like how do you use both closed source LLMs and open source LLMs. Now, after this, what we will do is we will take a little step back. Then we'll install Python on our machine. We'll install all our dependencies. I'll tell you like how do we do all that installation. For now, I'm assuming that you understand those things. So just give your listening ear and then understand how do we write code for invoking the LLMs locally. So that's going to be a topic for today. And eventually, as we go deeper, we will cover more deeper concepts. So I'm not sure if you remember, but I'm not sure if you're coming for the first time or so on. But we understood about Olama. Olama is like a website where you can go to olama.com and you can download the Olama executable that will help us to invoke local models. There are open source models like Gemma, Llama, DeepSeek, and different other models. You can use any of those models and you can invoke those models for doing your own local invocations. Now, what are the advantages of having those LLMs locally? The advantage is that you could create your own chatbots, right? A company wants to create its own chatbot basis the policy documents it has, or for example, it is having some Confluence pages, it is having some procedural documents, SOPs. We want to create bots on those documents, then and we don't want to send the data outside, right? For a security purpose and so on. We don't want to send the data outside. In such kind of a cases, we could use a local LLM. All right, so without any further ado, let me quickly go through the code. I will directly jump into the code. This is how I do it so that we don't waste any time to understand the basics and so on. As we go deeper into the course, I will be teaching the basics also. It is not like I'm ignoring them, but the blend is different, right? As we go deeper, we will understand one concept at a time. So what I've already opened is my Visual Studio Code, and I'll already have some code which is basically invoking my Olama installed on my machine. Olama is already installed on my machine. If I want to confirm if it is installed or not, I can go to my command prompt and I can enter Olama. When I say Olama, it should give me this kind of a serving command prompt, which with different kind of uh, different kind of methods, right? So we have Olama serve, create, show, run, and so on. It will show this. If it is saying Olama is not recognized, that means that it is not installed on your machine. If it responds back like this, then it says that the Olama is already available. And if I say Olama run and a model name, it will run on my command prompt. We will like to not see from a command prompt. We already have seen that in the previous examples. I like to run a direct functional function call using Olama. So I invoke this method and I can select multiple models. I will select the Gamma model, Gamma 3 1 billion parameter. And when we are invoking this model, we have two ways of invoking this. There are two prompts which we send. So these are prompts. These are the prompts which will be sending to the LLMs. One prompt is the system prompt. A system prompt will be a detailed prompt telling what the LLM should do, how the LLM should behave. Here I have given a very simple system prompt saying that you are a helpful AI assistant, but I can go explain the prompt in a very detailed format. For example, I say LLM should respond in bullet points. LLM should respond in a paragraph. Or LLM is a research assistant which will create a research paper on the topic which is provided. It can create a marketing brochure. It should respond in a professional, polite manner. Do not hallucinate. So all these rules and steps and conditions, whichever we wanted to provide, all those things you could provide in the system prompt. Whenever we are interacting with ChatGPT, we don't give system prompt. Internally, ChatGPT will provide its own system prompt. But we will just provide the user prompt. User prompt is our query. What is that we are trying to query? That is our user prompt. The system prompt is generally the one which provides us a what I mean to say. It provides us a kind of a rule book for the for the LLM to perform. So it says like, okay, this is how you have to perform. This is how you have to respond. This is how the format will be. This is the structure. So you give all those details in the system prompt. This is the first time so that I'm creating a very simple prompt, but as we go deeper, I will show you how do we create much more complex system prompts and how do we tweak the user prompt and so on. So previously I've asked this question about, I want to go to US and I want to create a nice travel plan for 2 weeks vacation. So that's the same one we will be asking. Now, if I want to ask or invoke a function to Olama, we will invoke the Olama chat function. There is the chat function and the Olama chat function will take a couple of arguments. The first argument is the model. What model are we invoking? The model is the model parameter which I have passed, and the parameter is initialized. Here we are using a Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. Gamma 3 is a model from Google. So I'm directly using the Google's open source model as an input. When coming to the system, when coming to the messages, when passing the prompts has a specific standard format. So it expects in what we call as an OpenAI standard format. Because there are multiple LLMs, if there is no standard, what happens is I have to create very curated way of calling different LLMs. So the standardization is not there, then it becomes very difficult if I want to use a multi-LLM kind of a project. And invocations of different LLMs becomes difficult because every LLM will expect its own way of standards of input and output and so on. So OpenAI has come up with a standard. So this is a standard way of passing our prompts. There is something called as role. You have to tell what is the role. Imagine role is system and the content which you pass for that role will be in the content, which is the system prompt. Role is system, content is system prompt. Role is user, content is user prompt. Now, what are the system in the user prompt? We just gave. So your system prompt is the one which is setting the conditions. User prompt is the actual query, what you want to do, what you want the LLM to do. And this is how the Olama chat function will be there and it will get back with a response. Now, response is coming in a markdown format. So you have to wrap it out with a markdown output. Now, what is a markdown output? It will have a nice subheadings, bullets, and all those nice formatted output. So you could directly use that output format for doing a lot of displaying a nice format. Okay, let us run it quickly and it will take few seconds for responding. It takes around 20 seconds or so. I'll sip some water while it is responding. So what I generally do is, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat window. I will encourage questions to be pouring in, but let us not unmute and ask randomly. So I would request you, because there will be a lot of questions in the first few days. I would encourage you guys to use the chat window, please. If you have any questions, put that in the chat window. I am seeing the questions and I will answer them, and then I'll blend them in the course, rather than we take a separate block saying that, okay, last 10 minutes we will take it for questions. I would encourage you guys to put your questions in the chat, and so that it doesn't interfere the course. Okay. As in the first few days, there will be a lot of questions. There will be a lot of people asking questions. But as the course progress, we will eventually ease out and we will have lesser number of questions. All right. So it has responded and made a plan for me, 2 weeks travel plan to US. And the theme, it has given a theme also, classic American adventure, iconic cities and natural wonders and so on. And it is giving me a nice budget. So this is where I like the way in which the LLM responds. I think Gamma is giving much more decent response. The output is much the better. So my system configuration is 16 GB RAM. The LLM responds, the first time the LLM responds a little slowly, but we can tweak this in the coming sections. I'll show you like how to tweak this to make it much better, right? So instead of waiting, we will we will spin the data faster. The the model, you think that the model is running slow, but it will give an illusion that it is running much faster. So I'll show you. Just bear with me for a few minutes, guys. So this is responding with a markdown, and you are seeing that it is nicely giving bullet points and so on and so forth. This is giving me all the details about the detailed plan, where to go, which days to spend where, and what should be the what should be my itinerary, what all things I should visit, and so on. So all those things, it is giving me a nice description about these about the trip. There's a function which I create, which is a small function, which is like converting your smaller text into capital letters. So this what we have also seen previously. Let me quickly go through it. So this function is nothing but I pass a smaller case characters, and that will convert into uppercase letters. So if I say hello, and then it will convert into uppercase hello. Now, why I'm doing this is I wanted to show quickly the UI, which is the Grader UI. Grader is a very powerful UI. You don't need to spend a lot of time, effort, and code. You just write a one-line code and it will launch a UI for us. It will launch kind of a website which is having a question and an answer kind of a format. So I'm saying gr, the gradio dot interface. This is the function which I will be calling, and the function will have inputs and then it will give outputs. Both inputs and outputs are in the text box format. And when I say dot launch, it launches this website. And if you see, scroll down a little bit, this is how the website would look like. If I click on this, it will go and launch the website, but I'll just show it here itself. I'll just say, wow, this is super clean. So a very nice, cool website, a quick one. But if I am calling this website, I input the input text. The output text is calling a function, shout function. And what it is doing is it is converting into capital letters. That's what it is doing. But one thing is that it is just having one single line. So I can make it much better. I can change that interface function by saying my input text box will have 6 lines and output text box will have 8 lines. And I can launch that. Once I launch it, this is how it comes out. It comes out much neater. And as you see now, I'll show you in the other website on my Chrome browser. This is how it looks like. And I can put any question. So the question can be, is this inbuilt 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 function? Answer is yes. No code, no code required. Right. So and there you're seeing the question. I just wrote this question. Is it an inbuilt function? Does we need to do anything to create this website? Nothing is required, just that one single line, because this is an inbuilt function by Gradio, build with love with Gradio. And Gradio provides a lot of these, and you can create chatbots also within few minutes. So there is no fun. I'm just using this, converting into capital letters. But can I call my ChatGPT, or not the ChatGPT, the Llama or the Gemma models as a ChatGPT? So for that, I'll create the message GPT function. The message GPT function will have an input prompt, and then it will it will take the same function, the Olama chat function, and then provide the response. This is the message GPT, and I'll use the same Gradio function by passing the message GPT, and you will get the input, 6 lines as an input and 8 lines as an output. Now, this website is created by Gradio, so all the branding and other things will be available. If you want to create our own website, then we can create using React or Angular and so on, and then can interact with them. This is the one which is provided by Gradio. Now I see that nice website created, but now this is a chat GPT like interface running on my local machine. So I can ask a question like, what is LLM? I'm asking a question and then it is responding with the question. It is taking few minutes. I will try to solve this problem. So this is a problem. You are seeing that it is spending like 10, 20 seconds. This is not really how LLMs work. That's the feeling we get, but we will solve the problem in few seconds. It took 20 seconds and it is responding in a markdown format. What is a markdown format? As you see, this stars. This is a markdown format, and it will give nice bullet points, subheadings, and all that stuff. So it's writing on what is an LLM. So LLM stands for large language model, and this is how it really looks like. If you want to get more details about these models and other things, you could go and just write as Gamma model, Google Gamma model, and you could say Gamma documentation, and then you will be able to get all the commands for that. If you want to understand how to run the Olama, the website is olama.com, and within that, you can go to the model section. That's where you will see all the models. The Gamma 3, this is the one which I'm using. So for invoking these functions, you will get all the Gamma information, and then you get a lot of details about the model, how to invoke the model, and different other things. There's a lot of information. I think you can go at your own time. This is how you will be providing that information. We are looking at a very initial stage of these LLMs. As we go deeper, we will understand, how do we provide security to these models? How do we create guardrails? How do we ensure that the LLMs do not hallucinate? How do we test these LLMs and all that stuff? We will see in great detail. That's part of our course. Okay, so I saw that this is taking much time, so I don't want to do this, but I will change this to something called as a stream GPT. Now, the stream GPT is similar to the previous GPT function. What it is having, it is having one single additional line, stream is equals to true. Now, what is streaming? Streaming is like giving the information like a chat GPT like experience. As in when I ask the question, the output would be coming directly as an output. And then when the output is coming as a stream, it comes into chunks. It doesn't come as a one full answer. If we want to wait for the full answer, I have to wait for the 20-second. I don't want to wait for the 120-second. I want in instantaneous answer. Then you have to take the data in terms of chunks, and the chunk will be coming as a in the response. So what I'll do is I loop through every chunk in your response, and I will yield that chunk. That's what. So this is a simple code line. What it does is it basically expecting individual chunks. It reads every chunk and then outputs that every chunk as an output. So that's what this function is doing. And the interface function is same. Just one change is that we are using the output as a markdown. Previously, when I saw, for example, here, the output is a text box, and that's the reason you're seeing this stars and so on. But if I change my output to markdown, markdown will basically provide in a nice format. So I'll run this and also run this. So we can use ChatGPT also. You might have this question like, why the hell I will use Olama, and why would I use this local model instead of ChatGPT? So ChatGPT is something what we call as a closed source model, or we call it as a frontier model. You have to pay for ChatGPT. I'll show you in the coming sessions like how do you pay for ChatGPT and use one of its API. That's a different thing. You have to pay for the models, and they are costly. So Olama is free. You could use it as a local model. And as we go deeper in the course, we will see like how do we customize these models for our requirements, right? So this is currently behaving like a ChatGPT, answering our questions, but can I make it much more better? Can I make it personalized, and all that stuff is what we are going to see in the coming sessions. And this link which I will click, and this is creating my chat GPT kind of an interface with your, so the previous one, the same question, what is LLM? What is LLM? I'll ask the same question, what is LLM? And this is having a different behavior. Let us see. If I run it, it quickly starts answering. So it doesn't wait for 20 seconds. It quickly starts answering. As you see, it's like kind of flowing. The same answer. If you see, this is the same answer. There are two changes. It quickly answering as you go. It is completely giving me answer, but there are two changes. It's giving in a stream format. And the second one is it is responding in markdown. As you see, there are bullet points and bolded letters and so on. This is called as a markdown script. Now, there are a lot of models. I will show you that we will compare Llama model and Gemma model and DeepSeek model, and multiple models are there. In fact, there are a lot of models. It becomes difficult for which one to select. Each model is having a lot of goods and bads. So some models are reasoning models. Some models are purely trained on code data. Some models are trained on text and image data. So each and every model has its own pros and cons. There is no one straightforward answer that, okay, this is the best model. So out of my experience of using these open source models, I'm seeing the Gamma model is giving me decent result. We will test it with the Llama model in few minutes, and then we'll see how both the models weigh. If I ask the same question, how both the models show different answers and so on. So those things we will see. But for now, what we are seeing here is that it is able to respond to our questions, and I can ask any question on under the sky, and it will be able to answer. But one thing which I will try to do is to put this link on the chat and click. You guys can click on the link and then see if you're able to see the same interface, whatever I am seeing. And you can ask any question which you ask to ChatGPT and then see if it is responding. And let me know how fast it is responding. Is it responding within few seconds or is it taking time? What is happening is your queries are coming to my machine, my desktop machine, which is running on 16 GB RAM and 4 GB GPU. And let us see how it responds. Can you guys click and see and let me know if you guys are able to see it and how much time it is taking to respond. And please keep your questions more vibrant and different questions. I will not be knowing what those questions are, so don't worry. But just keep the questions more different. Right? You can ask any superfluous questions also. I hope you are able to see the responses. Can you put a thumbs up or something like that? Yes, or something like that, so that I understand that you guys are able to see it. It might take some time maybe for you, but I'm getting responses that they're able to see it. So the question is, would you like to continue using the Gradio or we will be using any other UI? The Gradio is the UI. We will also be using we will be also using another one called a Streamlit. I'll show you like how to create UI using Streamlit and so on. So so I think that's the one we'll be using. I'll be not teaching anything on React or Angular. So this course is not for teaching UI. This course is geared towards teaching AI and so on. So not many people are bombarding. Please wait. Or if you are having issues, you refresh and ask any question like what is the capital of USA? So it is, I think many people are bombarding. I'll try in front of your eyes and I'll see whether the response is coming. But I see that few people are getting response. And for some people, it is taking time. And as you see on my screen also, it is taking time. So the reason is it is not auto-scaled. It is not uh, top engineered solution at the moment, but it is a happy path, workable solution, right? So as you see, it's taking time. I think people are bombarding with lot many questions. If you are bombarding, please stop so that my response, I'll get my response. I just asked a very simple question like, what is the capital of USA? Okay, but don't worry if it is not responded. See, it is not responding to me also. So don't worry if it has not responded. I'm sure in few minutes you will get the response. Leave that Chrome tab just like that. Okay, you should get the response in some time. But what I'm trying to show you is the magic of Gradio, right? I've launched within few minutes. We have created a website, we've created a ChatGPT, we created an application, and then every one of us can see it at least, right? You're able to see at least, you can ask questions, and now you're waiting for the response to come. So leave that for now, no problem. So from a security standpoint, okay, now it responded. As you see, it just responded. I hope other people also should get their responses. If I got, then probably the other guys might have also got. Okay, leave it and don't bombard it again. Okay. So from a security standpoint, right? So what happens now, this link I've given to you, I have not monitored these responses. So what is the input being asked? Who is asking the input? What is the output coming? Is the output is valid output or not? So there are tools for doing that. We especially call it as uh, LLM monitoring, and that is part of something what we call as LLM ops. So at the moment, I'm not tracking anything, right? So I'm not tracking your responses. I do not know. For example, if you see, I do not know what questions are being asked, how many people asked, all those things I do not know. So there is no track. But I can track all that information. I can track saying that who is doing what invocations, what messages are being passed, how much information is being passed, and all that stuff can be tracked. And we can also set a lot of guardrails, right? These are called as guardrails, and then guardrails can tell, like, what answers, what questions should be asked, what is the privacy level, what should be the security governance protocols used. All those things will be incorporated as in when we go deeper into the course. Okay. But now we are just thinking that, okay, you have this model, I'm asking questions and it is responding. Now, how this model can create a much more complex systems, as and when we go, we will understand it in a deeper sense. So this is how I have created the gradient interface. As you are seeing, this is the interface, and I am saying that this is a text box as an input. I have not used any label here. I can set saying that this label should have, like, in the previous one I have used, for example, in this one, if you see, here I have told lines is equals to 6 and lines is equals to 8. So you can customize it. You can customize the look and feel of the website and how the input output should be and all that stuff. Those can be customizable. All right. So there are next steps to this. So currently what we are doing is we are using simple LLMs, the open LLMs directly off the shelf. We're taking that LLM and directly asking questions. Now, there are multiple methods in which we can do something called as fine tuning of these models. So there is a first step where I can build my own model. So that is a much costlier. Then I am competing with Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, and so on. If I want to create my own model, I need a lot of money. I need a lot of GPU compute instances. I need a lot of data. For that, to create my own model, you can create a very small, teeny model, but for it to perform like these models are performing, it takes a lot of time. So training our own models is out of question. There are two other options. The second option is what we call as a fine tuning. Fine tuning means you already take an LLM and then you fine tune with your own data. You say, okay, LLM is gamma model we are taking, and then with gamma model, you give our own data, and then you customize that model. You can kind of augmenting the information it has. So that is called as fine tuning. The third thing is what we call as retrieval augmented generation, or we call as RAG. RAG is like the most popularly used method where we can use our own local data, and we don't have to pass the data to the LLM. We don't have to train the LLM, but we augment it as an information which is being passed to the LLM, and then that can behave like a local chatbot. It can work like our local chatbot, and it gives very good results. So as we go into this website, right, Olama, as you see, the Gamma model is having multiple input-output type. So Gamma 3 model, which is around 3.3 gig, supports both text and image. Video models, there are different models which supports videos. These models, the open source models, free versions, support text and image. Currently, we are using this model, Gamma 3 1 billion. This is the model I'm using. which is only capable of text. But we can use other models which are capable of text and image. Imagine I use the Gamma 3 billion parameter model. Imagine you have a 16 gig machine. You should comfortably use this 3 billion parameter model, and we can also do some testing whether it can create some images and so on. Okay. So I'm using these LLMs for creating images for different posts and maybe for my presentations, all those things. I'm using these LLMs. It's really fascinating. Yesterday itself I was using one of the LLM to create an image of myself, a younger version of myself, right? So I was creating a LinkedIn post. So for that, I try to provide it an idea and then create a younger version of myself. So I provide current photograph and it will create a younger version of myself. And so that's really fascinating. I'm very curious to see like how this space is evolving over time. Uh, I think it's very, very interesting to watch this space. All right, let us come back. So what I wanted to do is now we'll compare multiple models. So we spend around 40 minutes now. So what we are seeing is like how these LLMs are working. So we'll compare multiple models, the Llama model and the Gamma model. I think there are questions about, how to select which LLM and all that stuff. There is no one hard final answer, right? So every model is having some pros and cons, some style of responding. So depending upon whichever thing suits for our application, we have to use it. Okay, so let us now invoke multiple models. So I'll change this function into stream model. A stream model is, apart from taking the prompt, it will also take a model as an input. So if it comes with Llama, then I will point it to the Llama 3.21 billion parameter model. I already have this model available. So I'll point to this model. If it is coming as Gamma, it will point to the Gamma 3 1 billion parameter model. Okay. And I can use the same function. Same function is used. And the interface, the Gradio function will change a little bit. Apart from the input text box, it also have a drop down. So drop down, oh, messed it up. Just a second. So the drop down will have two options, Llama and Gamma. And I can select one of the model. I can select Gamma and it will have output. Output is coming in the output response and it is coming in the markdown script. So takes a minute and I launch it. So it has launched. It has provided me another Gradio link also, but I'm not using the Gradio link. I know that if I give it to you, you guys will bombard. So let me run this on my local. So it's running on my local machine. I can ask any question. For example, I say I ask the same question, or maybe a generic question like what is. I was asking one other question like what is PE ratio in show stocks. Okay, so I'll ask Llama first. Llama will take a little time because it's the first time invocation is happening. So Llama is the model from Meta. We'll see what is it telling about P ratio. So we are covering the generative AI model. I'm talking about different LLMs. Now we are comparing Llama and Gamma, head-on comparison. Okay, this is how Llama is responding. So you see is responding in Markdown and it gives some decent information. I think a decent style of output. Let us ask Gamma. So this is our chatbot, guys. So Gamma is giving answer like this. So it is having decent information. What is the significance? This is something good, right? So it is also giving some reference links also. Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, Bing and other thing, Bloomberg and all that stuff. So as you see, we just did a simple comparison with Llama and Gamma, right? And then we are comparing both of them and and then we are seeing how the response is coming. And as I'm saying, there is no one final model that this is the model what which is the best model. So Llama model, if you ask me, it is more of a document style model. It will give information more verbose. It will create, it is very good for, say, summarization. It is very good for, imagine you want to create a document or a research paper or something like that. So it gives a very nice detailed description. Whereas Gemma is more straightforward in sense it is it quickly gives the answer. It is direct to the point. It will give it will give explanation, but right up front you will be getting the answer. Right? You don't have to search, you don't have to understand the meaning and all that stuff. So you don't have to do that kind of a searching. That's what the comparison whichever I have done, that's what I do see. So as you're seeing, what we have done is we have written few lines of code and we are able to launch this chatbot. So I want to get your feedback. How complex is this code? Is this code very complex? Is it is like overwhelming, or are you able to understand? Somebody who is not from a programming background or who have done programming long back, and now we are working as program managers and maybe product managers and scrum masters and or maybe QA, mainframe, or something like that. So if that background, because there will be always the question that how much Python is required, right? So do I need to become an expert in Python and so on? I would say that we will give you the information about Python. We will provide all the libraries which are required for Python and the Pythonic course. All that information will be provided. And as and when we go deeper in the course, you will get used to it. And if you are a person who have never done programming in Python, I would recommend you to do some kind of brush up of the language. Because in our course, I will not be teaching what is a function, what is a variable, how do you write an OOPS concepts and so on, because that's not the purpose of our course. Our course is completely hands-on. Our course is completely enterprise applied oriented, and we will be directly jumping into the concepts and learning how we are doing in the enterprises, right? We will not be teaching, A for apple, B for ball, this is how the variable is declared, this is integer will have 8 bits. This is not all those things will not be covered. Okay, so all right, so one more thing which I will talk and then I'll take the questions. We'll spend a little extra time, guys. So bear with me. I know, like, if you are in US, it is almost time to hit your bed, but bear with me. We will spend a little more time for any questions you may have, and I'll answer all the questions and then I'll leave you. But before that, I will want to talk about this one. This is a very nice function which I've created. It is a little extra. So what is it doing is it is becoming a pricing expert. Okay. So it is a pricing expert and it is predicting a price of a model, a price of a product in USD. Okay. I'm creating a simple function. It takes a product description. Imagine I talk about, say, Apple Watch or something like that, and I give a description. And then it takes the price description of that, and then it does the prediction of the price along with a brief justification. So this is a prompt I've written. I'm saying that you are a pricing expert based on the product description which I provide below. Predict a fair market price in USD. That's what I'm giving. I'm giving a clear instructions. Consider the factors like brand, specification, features, and comparable products, and provide exact estimate. So it does not an exact price, but this is closer to the price. Okay, it's not hallucinating. Imagine the product is like $10, it gives like $10, $15 and so on. It doesn't hallucinate a lot. So this is the function, and we will be using the similar kind of a function to generate a prompt. We will be using a predict price function where I provide the product description and also the model. You can select multiple models and then we'll compare and see how Llama model is predicting and how Gamma model is predicting. Okay, so you can have both of the models and we can toggle depending upon our selection. And I'm saying that a system prompt, you are a helpful retail assistant which will predict the exact price of the product in USD. That's what is the system prompt. And the user prompt is the prompt which comes from the generate prompt function. Generate prompt function is this function which takes a product description and creates this nice prompt. And that is the customized prompt we are giving it to the model. So I run this, and this is going to launch a Gradio interface. A Gradio interface is exactly similar to the previous one. If I run it, you see the exact similar layout and format. But one difference is like now I'll ask, what is the price of Apple MacBook MacBook Air M1 chip. Are you getting what is happening? I'm asking it the price of it, and it is going to think and provide some information. And one thing, it give a disclaimer that as of November 2023, but still it is giving me a lot of things, and it is giving me the price of it, right? So 1099 to 1299 is the price of this product. If I ask a Llama model, Llama, what do you think? 1099 to 1299 is what Gamma is saying, correct or not, is what we are seeing. So today, if you guys are starting for the first session, imagine if this is the first session you are attending. I wanted you to get a feedback, right? So is it really overwhelming, or are you understanding what's happening? You don't know about LLM, you don't know about Gen AI, all programming, all that is good. Okay. So I'm understanding that, because we'll go in deep dive, we'll understand all those details one by one. But what I wanted to show is at least you guys are able to follow. And what we have created within 1 hour is like we created our own website, we created our own model, and I'm going to predict something which is going to happen. So let us go wild. Okay, we'll go to amazon.com. Okay, go to amazon.com and let us look at something. Maybe this watch. Casio M series unisex analog watch. Okay. You see what's happening? This is around $69, $70. Okay, roughly that's the price. Let me go and ask Llama. Llama. So Llama is hands up. Llama is saying I can't provide real-time prices of the product and Casio. Okay. It's saying pass. Okay, let us say ask Gemma now. Gemma, can you give me price of this Casio MDV? Okay. So it is giving me $89 to $129. A little on the higher side, 69, not bad. Ideal price is 69. With the discount is getting around $52. But as you see, right, so I'm not sure. We'll go to something very, very different. A Fitbit, the Whoop one. This is Whoop new one, I guess. And go healthy and let us take this fitness equipment. And this is real, guys. This is not, I'm not faking, and I'm not trained anything. I do not know how this will be responding. This is like hardcore real. So Kepi adjustable dumbbells. Okay. And 25 lb and different lbs are there. And now it is giving me all this details. 89 to 139 is the general range. 69 is a 25 lb dumbbell. Okay. So this pair, so if I go to 8999 is the 25 LB pair, LB, single tuple. As you see, 69 to 89. Got it? So that's how what we are seeing is that we are um, what we have done today is we just looked at the LLM, directly invoked the LLM, and we are trying to see how um, how the how the LLMs are invoking and so on, right? So I'm sure it will be overwhelming for few of you, uh, but I want you to get the sense of the art of possibilities with this. Okay. Now I could have started with ABC that, this is A, B, and C. Eventually, I'm doing it. I'll teach in the coming sessions. I'll talk about how to install Python, how to write simple code, and then slowly we get into all these models. But within 1 hour, I wanted you to get the sense of where are we heading. Okay. So if it is too overwhelming, I apologize for that. But let us look at mm, uh, with the open thought, right? So like, okay, what is the art of possibility and what we are seeing here, correct? So just give that view. Understood? Apologize if it is overwhelming, but what we have seen today is like just as you see, this whatever we have done just now is called as machine learning. We are doing prediction. We're doing real-time prediction. Previously, we used to build models for that. And even in our course, we'll be going through in-depth models about how do we do predictions, how do we do classification, regression, and so on. And whatever we just did, it's a regression model. Regression is a model which does predictions in numerical terms. Okay. What we have done is a regression, but within few minutes using an LLM. Of course, it is an older one model, but we will learn about how do we do real-time retrieval of data. How do we scrape real websites? Imagine um, I want the price of the Kepi adjustable dumbbell of specific set. I want it to go and scrape the website, different website, and come up and give me a best price, and or should also tell on which website you are having the best price. Imagine I want to build something like that. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. How much time it will take? It might take me around an hour or so. That's it. Got it? So please check with the organizers. They will be able to provide you the course content. I think you should get the course content. I'm sure we'll get more details in the course content. So there is a slight shift in the content which I'm trying to do is that there is a lot of uh, a lot of push towards generative AI and agentic AI. So uh, my ideal course content was we start with Python programming, then we'll start with machine learning, which is the classical machine learning, and then in the end we were doing generative AI and so on. So I'm flipping it head on. And we will be going with generative AI and other things first, and then we will be going to the machine learning. Now, you might have the question that will generative AI require a lot of pre-required things? All those pre-required things will be taught before we go into that section. All right. So that's how we could do it. So there's a question, can we open these links? Yes, I think I can open the link. It's going to the kepi.com and it is asking me to do something. You can go to this Amazon. It's an older link. That's an older link, so that's not there. Go to Walmart. So these links are there. The links are a little older. Yes, I do see that the links are older. As you see, the number 2023 is the model trait. So this links could be from that time. Sometimes the links will be newer. Sometimes the links will be older. So for even if you there's a question that should I download a new model for newer links? It's like if I download a model today, after a few months, this model will become old. So we are not working. So LLMs we are not using for real-time data, right? So there is a distinction. For real-time data, you need to create another extension system which can scrape real-time information and give it to LLM, and LLM will do the massaging. It will do all the conditioning, and then it will give the response, right? So I'll show you how to build those systems. But if I am downloading the latest model today, after a month it will become old. Are we getting right? So I'll never be able to get real-time information. So I need to create a system in which LLM is an external piece, and then it have another component which gives me the real-time information that can be created. So this model is only trained. The Gamma model is only trained till November 2023. Any new information, if you ask any details after this, it will not be able to tell. Same is the case with ChatGPT also. ChatGPT or any other LLM models, they are also similar lines. Now the latest ChatGPT models are equipped with the real world search, right? So they are having these additional plugins where they do real world search and then give back information. I hope you guys are familiar with Perplexity AI. Perplexity is the one which does that additional search, right? So Perplexity is having those additional plugins which goes and scrapes the information and then comes back. And that information will be used by the LLM to convert into a nice look and feel format. But what Perplexity is doing is the scraping. So I'll show you like all that stuff. Right? So these LLMs, we are trying to see as we go deeper, we will try to see different LLMs. Okay, like we will see the LLM behind ChatGPT, which is the Open AI model. Okay, we will see Open AI models, Open AI 4.0, Open AI 4.0 Mini, 4.1. These models we will see. Those models are closed source LLMs. They are very powerful models. They are not like these models. They are very powerful, but you have to pay for them. You will see all those things. Those things you could try it out. All right, any questions which I have missed? Do let me know if you have any questions. I will spend another 5 to 10 minutes if you guys have any questions to answer them. If it is getting very late for you, you can drop off. But I'll wait for a few minutes for any questions. So generally there will be question like, okay, I am from QA background, I am from testing background, I am from non-tech background. Should I learn Python first and then come back to the course? So there are two things you could do depending upon how much time you have and how much leeway you have. I have students who have done Python and our course at the same time, right? Because the way we will be going in the courses, we'll going slowly and we will go slowly into the course. So Python, generally it will take 1 month of time. If you really go in detail, it will take 1 month of time for us to learn like basics of Python and so on. So I have both students. Some people who have taken break saying that, okay, first I'll do Python and then I'll come to the course. For somebody who wanted to just get the questions done. So for such kind of a people, they will directly have done the course parallelly with Python. So they'll spend few more minutes for learning Python on the side, and then they do it. So that is the approach. Okay. So we will be doing all real-time project, guys. So I will not be talking anything content, academic. I will not be talking anything textual kind of a nature. If you're expecting that, then you will get used to my type of teaching. And believe me, I've done it for many sessions. So it will be essential. So if you're expecting that, I'll start with how to write a first line of code, and then how do we do it? It will take a lot of time, first thing, and it is not necessary. That kind of learning is not necessary. Now we are in the age of vibe coding. We need to know. We don't need to be very proficient in syntactical things and writing code and so on. Believe me, in 1 year, nobody is going to do a lot of coding by themselves. They will be using copilots. They will be using vibe coding, and we knowingly or unknowingly should get equipped with that way of coding. And if you are kind of in early career, I would say that is your go-to option. Okay. If somebody would have asked me 20 years back, we used to have Stack Overflow, we used to have Google, we used to do a lot of searching, and then we used to write code by our own. Nowadays, ChatGPT like systems are there where we can have our co-pilots assisting us. In the coming years, we will have a dual coding. We will code along with co-pilots, and we can code with copilot, we can test with copilot, we can create requirements and all that things with copilots. So that is going to be the norm, and knowingly we should get equipped to that. A basic Python skill is required. You do not have to know a lot of Python based thing. If you are familiar with any other programming language, if not Python, if you are familiar with say Java, C++, or any other programming language, you should be comfortable in doing the course. Right? Please put your questions in the chat. I will be able to answer them. All right. I think I have answered pretty much all the questions. If you have anything else, do let me know. Please connect with the organizers. They will be able to help get your any questions answered. You'll be able to get the curriculum and other details. They'll be able to help you with that. See, all the code and material, the videos are being recorded. All this information will be uploaded in the drive. So you'll be getting whatever I've showed. All those things will be uploaded, and I think I think we are working with organizers to frame out the batch. So give us few days, 1 or 2 days, so that we will solidify the batch, and then everyone who is working along with us will get the code, your videos, and other materials. You don't need to code along with us. So there can be a question that should I need to code along with this thing? You don't need to code. All the code will be provided, and you could do the coding later. So if you have a question like when is the training starting, training has already started. We've already looked at LLM, created an application, you're doing chatting. So tomorrow I'll talk about another thing. So training has already started. So you can go through one or two sessions to understand how what is my style of training and so on, and then based on that you can confirm. So tomorrow I'll talk about little more things like how do we switch different LLMs and how do we try different LLMs, import other LLMs and so on. I'll talk about it in tomorrow's session. So I'll show you those things in tomorrow's session. All right. So what kind of projects we'll do? There are, so as I'm seeing, today whatever we did is kind of a project itself, creating our own LLM. So this is our own, it's a project itself. Right from the first day, we are starting with projects. So mostly the course will be real time in nature. And then I would encourage people to come up with their own use cases, right? So I told this in the previous sessions also, that I would encourage people to come up with their own use cases so that we can use them for creating more realistic projects. And as this area is also evolving, we will create more realistic projects. This course is a 2-month long course. So we are starting at a little end of July. So this course will complete by end of September, mid to end September. And then we'll spend a good amount of time on generative AI, good 1 month time on generative AI, agentic AI, and all those things. And then we'll spend around a month and a half for classical machine learning and other areas. All right. So if you are from a delivery manager background, if you are from product background or Scrum Master kind of a background, if you do not know anything about programming, you slowly ease out into the course, because in the structure, the way we will be discussing is we will be discussing about how generative AI is evolving, what different applications are being created with generative AI, and then we will be understanding the requirements of generative AI and so on. So all those things we will be learning in the course. Okay, so that's about it. So any further questions? I think we spent a little 10 minutes more than the course time. Generally, the course is around 45 minutes plus 15 minutes. So 1 hour is the ideal duration. Today, the first few sessions, we will have a little more time because there will be so many questions. And then eventually, the timing for the course would be 45 minutes plus or minus, plus actually not minus, plus 10 minutes for questions. So ideally, it will be a 1 hour course. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night, good day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Please attend 1 or 2 sessions so you'll understand the pace, tempo, and the concepts we are covering and so on. Tomorrow, I'll brief in a very simple layman term about different concepts, and then slowly we will yield into the course. All right. Till then, take care and have a nice day, and I'll talk to you later.